The storm had swallowed the road whole that night, rain hitting the windshield like a firing squad. I was halfway back to Norfolk Base after a 14-hour supply run, just me, the hum of the engine, and the smell of diesel and salt. That's when I saw them, hazard lights blinking weakly in the downpour. A family, minivan tilted into a ditch. I pulled over. Habit, I guess. The father stepped out, soaked to the bone, clutching a useless umbrella. I hooked their bumper, towed them out, waved off the cash he offered. He only asked my name. 2 weeks later, my commander called me in. The man sitting in the office wore 4 stars. Same face, same father from the ditch. He smiled like he'd been expecting me. "Sergeant, I owe you more than thanks." That's how it started. Back then, I still believed in good men wearing uniforms, believed that saving people meant something. He offered me a position on his logistics team. Classified operations, better pay, direct access. I took it. I was proud. Foolish. He spoke to me like a mentor, treated me like a son. I worked late, made things run smoother than they ever had. He noticed everything, especially me. Then came the subtle shifts, the locked drawers, the hushed phone calls after hours. My reports started disappearing, my orders rerouted. When I asked, he'd say, "Need to know, Sergeant. Don't overthink." I should have known then. The first real crack appeared 3 months later. An inspection team came through, and I was called into the conference room. They had a file, my name on every falsified manifest. Weapons missing, fuel unaccounted for, a cover-up signed with my credentials. I told them it wasn't me. They looked at me like I was already court-martialed. The 4-star didn't even show up. He sent a message instead. "Sorry, son. I'll do what I can." That's when the world tilted. People say betrayal burns, but it's colder than that. It freezes you in place, makes you calculate every inch of the knife before you pull it out. I didn't yell, didn't plead. I listened, I learned. I memorized every accusation, every falsified document. Then, after they stripped my clearance and sent me to temporary assignment, I began to build my plan. Not for forgiveness, for symmetry. The first move was simple. I made myself invisible. Stayed compliant. Played the broken soldier. Meanwhile, I collected everything. Inventory logs, security footage, digital signatures. The general had been moving classified weapons off base through ghost manifests, using my ID as the smokescreen. I traced the paper trail backward, through dummy accounts, shell companies, private contractors. Every thread led to one name, his wife. That's when I understood. It wasn't just betrayal. It was empire. Months passed. I made allies quietly, people he'd burned, used, discarded. A civilian accountant, a Navy coder, even his driver. They didn't need convincing, just direction. We built a mirror operation. Every file he falsified, I copied. Every transfer he made, I rerouted 1 degree off into a separate ledger I controlled. Then I waited. Until the night of the gala. The base was dressed in glass and ceremony. Generals, senators, their polished lies reflecting in champagne flutes. I was there under logistics staff, no insignia, no name tag. He stood at the podium, praising honor, sacrifice, duty. The crowd applauded. I watched his wife smile. At 2100 hours, I sent 1 email. To every major defense auditor, investigative journalist, and Federal Oversight Committee. Attached, 342 pages of evidence, time-stamped, cross-referenced, signed by the general himself. The files went live before his toast hit the glass. He didn't know yet, not until his phone buzzed. I saw it, the flicker in his eyes, the way his hand trembled as the room began to whisper. The brass around him stepped back, like something contagious had entered the air. He looked for me then, scanning the crowd, and when he found me, standing by the service doors, calm, unarmed, I gave him a slow nod, the same one I gave him in the rain that night. He understood. They escorted him out within the hour, disgraced. Investigations opened, contracts suspended, assets frozen. His wife was named co-conspirator. Every empire he'd built collapsed, one document at a time. I didn't celebrate. I just drove home in the same truck I'd used to pull him out of that ditch. Funny thing about saving someone. Sometimes it's just to watch them drown later. I heard he tried to contact me from the holding facility. Letter came through official channels. I didn't open it. You don't revisit a storm once it's passed. You just remember the sound of the rain and how, for a moment, it made everything clean. Now, when I drive back to base, I don't stop for stranded cars. I keep going. Some lessons you learn once.